So recently I built a couple flying wings using this kind of material. It's a corrugated plastic. Some people call it coroplast or corflute. This material is nice and strong for flying wings. It's fairly light. What I haven't figured out yet is what the right glue is to use on it. So far I've been using hot glue, and I've found that it has a tendency to come apart every once in a while, which isn't a big deal. I can bring my hot glue gun. As you can see, I've got this little guy here that I can bring to the flying field if I want. It's a battery operated hot glue gun, but still I'd rather not be repairing things that aren't broken. So I'm going to try a couple glues here, and we'll leave it for 12 hours or so and then come back in the morning and see how it did. So the glues I'm going to be trying are marine goop, super glue, closer there, super glue, Elmer's Ultimate polyurethane glue, some Hobby King EPP foam cure glue, which I'm not expecting to work very well, Elmer's spray adhesive, look at that one over there, let's see, 15-minute epoxy, 2-part epoxy, and of course hot glue. So I will glue these together. These are all small pieces about the same size, about 1 inch by 2 inches, and then I'll look at them in the morning. So let's start, actually that's going to make the most mess. Let's start with the one that's going to make the least mess. Let's do a little polyurethane glue first. And for now I'm just going to line these up. I'm just putting a little water on there because that's what you do with polyurethane glue. I'll just line them up beside their, or behind their types of glues. Now I have done some reading online, so I'm not expecting the polyurethane glue to do very well. But still, because I have it, I'm going to add it in. And I'll just use as many of these little clamps as I can, and then I'll go for larger clamps where I have to. So there we go. Polyurethane glue is done. Let's do all the ones that I can do easily first. So I have hot glue right here, so let's do that. That way I can unplug my hot glue gun and not drain my battery. So you see I'm putting a nice generous amount of the hot glue on there. Get it in, press it nice and tight. And again clamp it. So let's see. Just going to see if this will work. So I might not have room for all of these to put beside. HG, that seems like hot glue. And EU seems like Elmer's Ultimate. So I'm going to just put the battery beside it rather than the hot glue gun because I don't want to burn anything. Okay, what's next? Let's try this spray glue. First of all, get myself a platform. So I don't get to spray all over everything. Now, I have no idea how to use this spray glue, and I really haven't had very much luck with it so far. All it seems to do is make my hands sticky. But I'll include it. And true to form, it's not doing a very good job sticking the plastic together, but it's sticking my fingers a little bit. So you just put that one over there by that glue. I won't write on it while it's wet. Okay, let's give the marine goop a try. The chance of this running without me poking it's pretty minimal. This is the one I'm hoping for. It has the flexibility and ultimately the strength to really be a front runner. It's probably too much of it. Yeah, that was probably enough goop for 2 pieces this size or more. Marine goop. Okay. Now, do I have what I need to mix up some epoxy? Have to make do with what I've got. So, carefully measure in 1 part of the clear, 1 part of the not so clear. Stir it with the mixing stick. Ah, there we go, I'll use this. Let's see if we can get a little bit more general light on here. I don't know if that's going to be better or worse. So give it a good mix. Collect one of the foam pieces. Oh, that's perfect. I'm getting epoxy all over the table. And together, a good seal. Eventually I'm going to run out of these. I have to come up with something better. Okay. Make sure I put the right caps on the right pieces for the epoxy. Otherwise I'm going to end up not being able to take the caps off because they'll glue on. Okay, this was the epoxy. Put EP for epoxy. Put that right there beside those. So what have we got left? I think the only one we've got left now is super glue. So now I'm going to do, I don't know if that'll come out like that. It's expecting me to poke a hole in it. So I have a magical, right. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to do two different tests with the super glue. One with kicker and one without. So this is the super glue no kicker. Super glue no kicker. There we go. And then we'll do one more super glue with kicker. So hopefully this dollar store super glue is actually some sort of CA, so the kicker will work. Kicker right here. know pretty quickly if that's actually, if that kicker is going to make a difference, because this won't come apart. Yeah. Wow! That's definitely CA. Boy, that gets hot fast. Chemical reaction. So, if that works, that's a good field repair. Like if it works better than the hot glue. And that's super glue. I can't write on it. Super glue. Let's try here. Really? Alright. I'm just going to have to remember by putting it right here, right beside the super glue. I'm really curious how strong that super glue is right from the start. So there you go, there's the super glue with the kicker. I'll put the super glue no kicker there. So I think most of them are labeled except for that one, and except for this one, which is the spray, Elmer's spray. Okay, that's labeled now. Let's try labeling this one more time. Super glue with kicker. Perfect. There we got them all labeled now. Come back in the morning. We'll oh, I didn't do this one. Oh, let's do this one. This is the Hobby King EPP foam glue. I'm not expecting great things. I'm not even going to, I don't want to really open it just for this. This should be kept for doing EPP, so I'm just going to pour a little on here and spread it out. That's way too much. What are you, insane? There we go, and I'll slide the glue bottle. Oh, that's tacky. That EPP stuff. Maybe that'll work. Maybe it'll work. After all, we never know. Okay, good. I'll see you guys in the morning for the end of the test. Okay, glue's dried now for 12 plus hours, and it's time to do the conclusion of the glue test. So one at a time, I'm going to just go through these and try to see which ones stick well, which ones don't stick at all, and try and determine what the best couple are for gluing corrugated plastic to corrugated plastic. So my first one here is hot glue. That's what I've been using so far. It's worked pretty well, but it does come apart. So let's try this after 12 hours in a clamp. Actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So what's this tell me? I'm just trying to, let's see if we can get a closer look at it. I'm trying to pry this apart, and the hot glue is really stuck well. So what that tells me is maybe when I'm oh, there we go. When I'm connecting with hot glue, maybe I'm not putting enough pressure on the joint. Maybe I need to clamp it instead of just pushing down on it for 10 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it takes for the hot glue to cool. Because this is very strong. You can see how I'm distorting the plastic trying to get it apart. So hot glue is still an option. I think I just need to maybe have some compression on the joints. Now that's not going to help with the risers, because you can't necessarily have compression on those. It's possible as well that temperature is a bit of a factor. So you can see the remnants of the hot glue afterwards. Let's see, what's a better way to show this? Move that camera over there so we can get some light. So you can see that this piece has almost no hot glue and this piece has all the hot glue, so it came off cleanly. There's not bits and pieces everywhere. But still, I'm going to imagine that hot glue is going to be a contender. So I'm going to put that over in the contenders pile, which will be over here. Okay, super glue with no kicker. Oh, no. Okay, once I get in there, it appears to be strong to start with. Let's see, once I get in there and start splitting it apart, not great. It's certainly nowhere near the strength that the hot glue was. So I'm going to put that in the non-contender pile, although it did stick. It did stick, but I think hot glue did a better job. This is 12 hours of drying. Super glue with kicker. Now it's worth mentioning the super glue without kicker is still slightly sticky. So the with kicker, maybe it'll have a better result. Able to pry the corner up, go along this seam. No, super glue with kicker came apart pretty easily, so that's not going to be an option, at least not with this dollar store super glue. This one is Elmer's Ultimate Glue, so a polyurethane glue like Gorilla Glue. I've read online that this doesn't work very well, so let's see. Well, what do the people online know? That, ladies and gentlemen, I can't get it apart. I can't get it apart. So let's go to phase 2. I can't get this apart with my fingers. I can't. Oh, hold on. Maybe I can. Let's try a little harder. So that's almost as good as hot glue. I'm going to put it in second place to the hot glue. Hobby King EPP foam glue. Very easy to pull apart. Goes in the garbage pile. Marine Goop. All my hopes and dreams are on Marine Goop. It was pretty easy to take apart, I'll admit. 2-part epoxy, 15-minute epoxy. Garbage pile. And this silly Elmer's spray, which has never worked for anything for me. Shows its true colors once again. So, the top 2 were really Elmer's Ultimate and hot glue. Next in line was the CA and the CA with kicker, so super glue. And Marine Goop would have been after that, and then the Hobby King EPP, and then this garbage adhesive spray. So what I've been doing all along is, as far as the glues that I have to test, hot glue, if I actually use some clamping on it, I think it's still the way to go. So I don't know what that means for dealing with the damage on a crash on something like a vertical stabilizer where I can't really clamp that. I'm kind of relying on just the seam. So I'm thinking some Marine Goop, some hot glue to hold it in initially, and maybe some Marine Goop around the seam. And the combination of those two, the flexibility of the Marine Goop, so on impact it's not going to shatter, and then the hot glue, the strength of the hot glue to hold it in place. Maybe that's ultimately the answer. I was pleasantly surprised with the Elmer's Ultimate. It actually worked a lot better than people had said online. Ultimately it did let go, but that might not be bad as well, especially considering if you've got your stabilizer, you have, if you can imagine that there's a cutout, let's see, it would be like this. It would be like this and this and this. So you can see that you've got holes here and you've got holes here. So if you were using that kind of glue, it's not only going to be in beside, but it's also going to go into the holes and possibly add a little bit of stability as well. So that's a possibility. So I might have to try this in real world on some planes and see what holds and what doesn't. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you have any ideas about what glues work on corrugated plastic the best, please post them in the comments section. I'm always willing to try something different, especially if it works better than what I've got. Thanks for watching.